Assalamu alaikum everyone, Exhibition Cadet Sabir Shah from my channel Aviation Cadet 9936. First of all, the disclaimer, anything I talk about in this video is based on my personal research, and all the data is available in the public forums and it's in the public domain. And I do not talk on the behalf of Pakistan Air Force or any of the Pakistani institutions that are related to defense or bureaucracy or any particular departments that are related to the defense news. Why I'm giving this disclaimer, the reason is a lot of people speculate that the information coming from a person who belonged to Pakistan Air Force once, it's going to be the spokesperson of Pakistan Air Force or the government of Pakistan. No, I'm a very ordinary man living in China for about 28 years now after leaving Pakistan Air Force. And I just I'm an aviation buff, and I love news about aviation regarding any kinds of news. But most of my topics on my channel would be current affair related. So take it as a video number one, and I'm going to keep my contents in English because English is a universal language, and YouTube has better options to translate English into the local language if someone is much interested in knowing what the person is saying. So that's why I'm choosing the medium English. And if you are interested in any of my story of how I joined Pakistan Air Force, why I left, on my channel, in my playlist, I have categorized all the things. How I joined Air Force initially in the initial test, and then the ISSB phase, and then the PF Academy Helper experience. So everything is recorded and it's on my channel available. So this was my whole introduction. Again, formally, I am exhibition cadet. I worked for Pakistan Air Force for about 2.5 years, back in 1993, December 29th, all the way till June 1st, 1996. So this was my whole tenure as a fighter pilot. I have flown 3 aircrafts, including Mashak, the old Mashak, the Karakoram 8, K-8, and number 3 was the T-37, the Tweety bird from the United States of America. So altogether, I have about 150 plus flying hours. I don't remember much, but yeah, basically I did instrument flying, navigational flying, formation flying, general maneuvering, BFMs. So this was my area of expertise. And that's why I think that I have the rights to talk about the defense-related news. So that's why I'm going to talk about them. So first come first. The current affairs of this previous month, I was busy with my life which I was sharing with my Pakistani youth, and for that I had to take about 3 months to complete that phase in different episodes. So if anyone is interested in Urdu defense news as a Pakistani, I can recommend you a few channels, 3 top channels at the moment, which I know of. One is AMRAD, AMRAAD. Number 2 is Conflict Card. These 2 are fishless channels, and I think they're run by a very close person who has links in Pakistan Air Force, because their information is, man, sometimes I get bamboozled that, how did you get this information? But anything in public, available on public domain of this level, you can get from these 2 channels. And any news that's public by Pakistan Air Force, that means the Pakistan Air Force has a countermeasure for that, even if our enemy rivals, they learn what Pakistan is doing. So that means we already have the countermeasure for whatever we are doing. And if anyone learns from that one, doesn't matter at all for us, because we are a step ahead of that, or maybe many more steps ahead of that, because this is the specialty of Pakistan Air Force. We stay ahead of the rivals. And we have given them two surprises in the modern world when Pakistan Air Force role was accepted and tried by our military establishment. And Pakistan Air Force has proven to be a pivoting role which can turn the tables. And that has happened in 2019 and in 2025 May. So the third channel I would recommend you is PAF Falcons. There's a squadron leader, Ali Hamza, retired. He has served in Pakistan Air Force for about 20 years, and in 2019, Operation Swift Retort, he was one of the key officers who actually made this plan, because again, no one knows what plan Pakistan Air Force is going to conduct. Only the leadership knows. But different projects are given to different people, and even they don't know about it, what they are working on. But they're just given the okay, here's Pathankot. Tell us how we're going to attack Pathankot. So the same project is given to at least 20 of the air defense officers, because mostly the strategy and planning is done by them, because they have radar facilities and a lot of equipments. So that's why the main plan is done by those officers, and they even don't know what their mission is. And once they submit their final report to the chief or the military leadership or the Air Force leadership, then they decide which plan to follow, and they tell the pilots, and pilots are ready to do anything. Whatever you tell them, they will do or die, but never say why. The motto of Pakistan Air Force. And the pilots have shown their skills recently. So when in doubt, check it out. That's for the rivals. When you're in doubt and you want to know the capabilities of Pakistani Air Force pilots, check it out, and you will find a surprise. So that was about the surprise. So Mr. Ali Hamza is doing a great job, and is going to retire, Ali Hamza. And he himself is doing his PhD in modern air warfare, and because this is what the Air Force people do. In their own field, they are the champions. So he discusses a lot of modern issues, and his feedback is really, really authentic. And he also uses the public domains. He doesn't give any information from the Air Force authorities. Anything that is available on international magazines, he gathers them and then makes his own videos, and really nice. So if you are an Urdu speaker, you can follow him. Number 4, two people I would say, again, in Urdu. This is Air Commodore retired Khalid Chishti. Recently he has been active, and before him was Sir Shahid Latif, Air Commodore retired Shahid Latif, the one who brought F-16s to Pakistan back in 80s. He was among the pioneer pilots who brought F-16s, the initial models. They call it Block 15 now, but there were A's and B's back then. A's are single seat and B's are dual seat, tandem seat arrangement aircrafts, F-16s, Falcons. Now we have Vipers, 52, Block 52, and their half-life has already been upgraded. So right now we have the most sophisticated systems of F-16s. So many I was saying, Sir Khalid Chishti is the second one, the second Air Force officer, although I would have put him on top. But what I'm saying is it's not on the basis of the seniority or whatever, but Sir Khalid Chishti is doing he has his own channel too. You can follow his channel. But his information is right from the mouth of the river, what you call. It's from the beginning, from the Air Force, because he has been a senior Air Force official, and he has been invited to many of the things in Pakistan Air Force, even the recent officers who had conducted the missions on J-10Cs to kill Rafales. He had met that team personally, and of course he called them the real Generation Z, because these are like 20, 21 years of age boys, those who have conducted these missions. So Sir Khalid Chishti is the second, and the third one is our ex-PIA chairman, Mr. Air Commodore, Air Vice Marshal retired Rashid Malik Saab. He's also becoming a voice recently, and on different channels I've seen him. So these two are the people who are directly involved with Pakistan Air Force, and they get you the inside news. So the second channel, after these two, whenever you see them, click and watch, and you will learn a lot of things if you are PAF enthusiast. And third one is Ali Hamza, Squander Ali Hamza retired. He is also one of a kind, and but he because one I would say that his rank is retired squander, which is a great rank. But the thing is, he doesn't want to get involved in conspiracy theories. So he just becomes straightforward and to the point, to the topic, and he gets his information publicly. And he's denied a few pieces of news which were given by many senior Air Force, Pakistan Air Force officials. But back in times, he denied that, for example, that J-35 is going to be inducted in Pakistan Air Force in August 2025. And people claim that on August 14th, 2025, J-35's first batch would arrive in Pakistan, and they would be shown on the public parade. But he categorically denied back then, and I was amazed by his information because J-35 was being made in the city where I live, in Shenyang City. And from this place where I'm recording this video, that base is about 13 kilometers away towards the north. We call it Shen Bay. Shen is Shenyang Shen, and Bay is north, northern Shenyang. That district is called Northern Shenyang. And this huge airbase, like 27,000 square meters, which is about 27 square kilometers in the area, and fully functional now. I would say that a few of my acquaintances, they took the kids of the school, and they were given a proper visit to that airbase and shown how that works. So I have come to know from them. So, and he had the information like last year that when is this gonna be working? And even I didn't have that piece of information living in the city. I'm not bothered about many. I'm not the kind of the kind of rat kind of thingy that go and sniff around what's going on. No, whatever is in public domain, whatever appears on my phone, I just check it. So I don't bother. But he is a real air war expert. So he knows where to gather his information, and he got his information, and he said no. Lately, if any J-35s are going to be inducted in Pakistan Air Force, that would be in within this year. And later on, when I checked online, on Chinese media forums, the public domains, and I can reconfirm that the installation, the factory has already started working, and they can manufacture one F-35 in 3 days. Yeah, you would say, what? Well, you have been misled long ago by a Chinese copying thingy. Now, let me tell you, Chinese copying thing. I have lived in this country for about 28 years now, so I can't say that I know inside out of them, but I know a lot. I've observed a lot, and my observational powers were taught by Pakistan Air Force. So when I see a thing, it's different from anyone else seeing those same things. Even in my country, in Pakistan, they say, oh, Chinese copies, blah, 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 not good, blah, blah, blah. The reason is the affordability of the people in Pakistan is little. So back then, like in the year 2000, when the new cell phones came out, and at that time the cell phones were like what, Nokia 3310 or 3210, the brick-made Nokias, and they were like, let's say, the official price was, let's say, 5,000 rupees. The official price, like if Nokia would have sold them, and China was mastering copies, so they did copy at that time, and they would have different qualities. Now, many factories of these big companies, Nokia, for example, was based in China. So they have the molds. They know how to make the motherboard. They know how to make the casing. They know how to make the keypad. They know how to make all the chips because they have the rights to do that. Now, the contract signed with Nokia, let's suppose, is that you can produce, let's say, 10,000 sets a year. So what people used to do back then, not under the Xi Jinping administration, back then it was Jiang Zemin, Mr. Jiang Zemin. So they had different sets of policies about the country. So what they used to do is they used to make extra. Okay. Now the same mold, the same thing that is making, let's say, Nokia 3310 or 3320. The Chinese company would buy that mold and make copy of them. Now, once they achieve their financial goals, they would sell it to someone else. So the quality kept reducing and reducing. So if you wanted to buy a copy of the exact same Nokia 3310, you have to pay just a little less than 5,000. You would pay about 4,000, and you could sell it in the market for 5,000 because this is close to real. Everything is real, just the IM, EI number is different and stuff like that. But there is also a cheaper copy, which you could get it like for 1,000 kwais. And you could actually customize that one. So that's why those Nokia cell phones in Pakistan, they had the ringtone like Chanya, Chanya, Chanya. But in China, you would never find, in Japan, you would never find those kind of ringtones. But in Pakistan, they were available. Because Pakistani tradesmen, business people, they were looking for the affordability of their own people. So that's why they come here and they used to buy. I'm telling you, the market in Guangzhou back then, I visited that one. You could buy the keyboards in kilos, chips in kilos, not in quantity like give me 10, give me 100. No, no, no. Get 1 kilo of casings, get 2 kilos of motherboards, get 3 kilos of the keypads. And then on the second floor, there were people who used to assemble those right like this. I mean, their speed was like 5 to 6 minutes per cell phone. I mean, they take the batteries, they take the keypad, they take the casing, they take the motherboard, and then assemble it within 5 to 6 minutes per cell phone. So that was the bad on the people who used the cheaper Chinese copies, period. And China had the best copies as well back then. I mean, I've been using iPhone, iPhone 3, iPhone 5, iPhone 6, iPhone 4, iPhone 4S. When Steve Jobs died, it became 4S, and then 5, 5S, and then so on. Initially, a few iPhones, I used the copies, and no one could tell the difference between the original and they call it Hanhua and Suihua. Hanhua is the original one, and the Suihua is the copied one, the pirated one, the non-tax paid one, or the replica one. So, and the shopkeeper used to tell you, okay, this is Hanhua, original, and this is Suihua, the copied one. You choose. So this is the whole evolution of Chinese copying things because they had the rights to manufacture those things in China. So some people used to outsource those molds and those formulas and those codes, and then they used to replicate. But China has its own R&D too regarding all the things. So you see Huawei, the phone, I have used it, one of the most excellent phones with its own software, just like Apple has its own software, Android has its own, Huawei uses its own software. My project in charge back then, when we used to use DOS, which was Windows, which was DOS operated, we didn't have the Macintosh back then or any other systems, or at least not until 1999. I joined software engineering in 1997. So for the first 2 years, we just used the Microsoft DOS-based Windows. But back then, the one who became my project in charge, Mr. Chen Weiru, he had created his own software operating system for a factory because they didn't want any, like viruses and stuff like that. So he created his own software system, operating system, which he named him on his own name and sold for 7 million yuan back then to that factory. And the factory is still using that unique, one of a kind, their own operating system, which doesn't work on Windows, Unix, Linux, or what you call Macintosh. It's Mr. Chen operating system, so COS. So again, China initially used the initial MiGs technology to make their own aircrafts, but the projects were being run on the side, their own indigenous, like for example, J-10C started in 70s, late 70s with Israel. Imagine that. And same is the case with JF Thunder, 1980s with Pakistan. And once you come to now the fifth generation aircrafts, or the sixth generation is also, by the way, on the cards. And we have seen a few videos of those aircrafts flying in the same area. So it's not copying now. It's way ahead. Their R&D finally paid off. And how they choose their aeronautical engineers, how they choose their pilots, that's a different story. It's totally different from Pakistan. Pakistan Air Force, how they are chosen, I've already told in my autobiography. But here, there's a selected lot, and they choose from that selected lot, and that selected lot doesn't come in public. So it's not, and that's how China does it. So this facility in Shenyang, it can manufacture a J-35 in 3 days because it's initially on initial run. So once it will start, which would be fully functional within a year, it's going to make one JF-35 a day, and it can make one J-20 in half a day, fully assembled. I mean, assembling, because the manufacturing part is going to be done at different other places, and then all these parts, they're going to gather together here. Normally what happens that most of the countries, what they do is that the aircraft is placed at one hub, at one unit, and then all the desired people, they come to the aircraft and then start putting their things in. For example, let's say they have the engine, they place the engine first, now the airframe around it, the wing people, they will come and install the wings. The rudder people will come and install the rudders. So while the rudders are being installed, the wing people cannot work. While the fuselage is being installed, the wing people cannot work. Once the wings are being installed, the fuselage people can't work. So all these avionics, electronics, fuel systems, engines, everything is at that one point, and once it's your turn, then you do it. But here, they call it the pulse manufacturing, in which the aircraft is going to go to the people. It's on a train track, and the aircraft is on a train, and then it's not a train like which travels like 380 miles per hour. Nope. It's on a train track, and once the aircraft reaches its concerned area, they do their thing, and then they give okay, and the aircraft moves to the next station where the other party. So it's all organized, synchronized, that what goes first, what goes last, and on the basis of this order, eventually once the aircraft comes out of the other side, it's a full-fledged flyable machine within 3 days, which is going to be 1 day. So by the start of 2027, China is going to produce 365 J-35s a day. And if they divide it on alternate days, like in 1 day they produce J-20s, and on the other day they produce J-35s. So bring the J-35s to half. which is, okay, 365's half is 182.5 J35s per year from 2027 onwards. And J20s would be 365 a year because they can make two J20s, just because J20 is a little smaller than J35, little lesser things are required to do that, so they can do two in a day. This is about China, and this technology is going to be transferred to Pakistan. Yeah, Indians, look at the camera and say hello. Because when CPEC was being done, the initial phase was to build the infrastructure in Pakistan. And on the second phase, all these copying factories would have been transferred to Pakistan. But some of the idiots, they didn't want that to be happening in Pakistan. So it's a bit delayed, but of course, being delayed, yeah, one day, once it's going to be done, all this technology is going to be transferred to Pakistan step by step, which should have started in 2019, but due to Mr. Pizza Jones, it couldn't happen. If you don't know Pizza Jones, check Google and you would know who is Mr. Pizza Jones in Pakistan. But anyhow, I don't blame him totally. There are many other things working. I mean, you don't have to make angry one side. You have to be friends with everyone, Russia, with China, with America, with India, with, I would say India, Israel. I'm pro unity person, so I go work with everyone. So, but what I want to say is, in civil terms, civil government could not take that advantage of China, and transfer of technology did not happen for like ML1 train systems. We couldn't get that one. Like bullet trains would have been introduced in Pakistan, but some people, they just did not want that to happen, so it didn't work. But the transfer of technology, at least at the term of Air Force, is going according to the plan. So that's why JF Thunder Block 3 is being prepared in Pakistan. Pakistan makes 62% of JF Block 3. Now, I will not go into the details of what Pakistan manufactures, but what Pakistan doesn't manufacture, I can tell you, engines. We still don't have the engine capabilities, but we are working on that as well. And we have our own engine, but again, it has to be used once the RD-93s of Russia could be stopped, or the WS-13s of China. Once these engines, for some reasons, we cannot get, we'll bring in our own engine, which is, according to my information, it's, yeah, it is one of the world matching engines as well. So this much information is enough. How did I know this information? Is from the talks of Sir Khalid Chishti and Sir Arshad Malik, because these two indirectly, those common people, they do not understand the terminology they use, but for a person who has been in Air Force, knows exactly what they're trying to say. I'll give you an example. For example, okay, I believe that's civil government example, so let's not talk about that. But Pakistan has its own indigenous engine. I am 100% sure about that because of the talks of Mr. Arshad Malik and Mr. Khalid Chishti on public forums. If anyone asks me the question, I can give the reference. When did they say what and what that means? Because specifically they were asked a question about Russian RD-93, which are used in K-8s at the moment, and we used WS-13 back initially when the Block 1 of JF Thunder was being made, but at that time, the engine power of WS-10 or WS-13, one of them, was not up to the par of JF-13's capabilities, because everything uses engine's power. So if the engine is a little lower in terms of giving the power, then of course a few of the things are not going to work efficiently, and you need the aircraft at its optimum level, full level, working fully. So that's why we use Russian RD-93 back then. And we have no problems in attaining those ones, even if the sanctions are imposed in Russia. Sanctions have been imposed in Russia. Sanctions have been imposed in Pakistan during all this time. But has the supply of engines ever been stopped? No. How do we acquire them? Well, that's a business secret, which no one would tell you. And we have been getting all these instruments. Even if you look at the Mi-17 helicopters, they're also Russian made. And yet we get all the spare parts and whatever we needed for those helicopters to keep their maintenance up to the par. We get them. Mirages, Mirages 5 and 3s, which have been abandoned by France itself long ago. Egypt, I think 5 years ago, they abandoned their last squadron. And Pakistan is still using them for 55 years now, about 55 years. It's going to be 55 next year. 2027 is the 55th year of Mirages. T-37s. So all these gems, these, you see, we say new is silver, but old is gold. Never forget your old friends. So all are these old buddies, Mirages, T-37s. They have been in Pakistan Air Force from 60s onwards. So, and still working. So apart from so many sanctions, so many restrictions imposed in Pakistan, we still maintain them, we still fly them, and we still train our pilots. And Mirages had a big role in Operation Swift Retort. The H-4, those laser-guided bombs, the bombs with eyes, the standoff weapons, were actually dropped by the Mirages. Imagine that. And India had Sus and MiGs and whatnot, and Mirage 2002. And yet, in front of Mirage 2000, a Mirage 5 is going for the action. Well, India couldn't do anything in across from LOC, line of control border, because the terrain, because the mountainous region, they could only have MiG 21s. They cannot have the other aircrafts because of their. This is said by the Indian ex-Air Force chief, the one who was Air Chief in 2019 by himself, because he was asked the question why MiG 21s were the only ones answering to F-16s of Pakistan. And he said very clearly, he said, well, our terrain, the airport, the runway does not allow others, the aircrafts, to be landed there. The only aircraft that can land and take off is MiG-21s or Mirage 2000's upgraded version, which HAL, the Indian aircraft manufacturer, HAL, they have not given them updated Mirage 2000. They did 40, but they gave them 7 only. And of course, you don't put them at a non-operational base, which is during the war is non-operational. But apart from the war, it's non-operational branch. So he said we couldn't do that. And he also claimed about the F-16 that, again, his answer was very clear. He said, when he was asked that, did Abhinandan shoot down Indian F-16? So he just answered. He said, well, did Abhinandan claim that? Has he ever claimed anywhere? He asked the host of the program. Period.
He didn't come back and say claim the kill. In fact, we have given him the kill based on he was only. अगर किसी और ने भी फायर किया होता तो हम कहते भाई किसका मिसाइल लगा है.
By the way, the U.S. officials had a count on F-16s, and they said clearly that no, nothing was shot down. And also, we showed that all the AMRAAM missiles installed on all these BVRs installed on MiG-21s, they were intact. We have the whole airplane of MiG-21 Bison of Abhinandan located in PF Museum. And each and every piece of debris, we collected and reassembled that one and put it in the museum, and with different parts of different museums in different locations. Different parts have been on the display, so people can go and see all these 4 BVRs were intact. So you can't just use your Ajay Dev, what's his name? Their defense minister, Devil something, Devil. His laser eyes, it doesn't work like that. And also, there's one more thing that let me clear out. It's 34 minutes already. It's my first video of the year on the current affairs, so it's gonna be long. But in the future, I'll contain myself. One topic, one video, 10, 15 minutes. That's it. So, oh yeah. They say that, the reputation of F-16 was going to go down. So that's why the US said, the fleet is complete. Oh, bro. You know how many F-16s have been down since their manufacturing and exporting to other countries started? About 400 F-16s have been down in Egypt, in Pakistan, in USA, in Canada, in Israel. It has nothing to do with the reputation of the aircraft once it's shot down in the combat. Rafale, on the other hand, has never been shot down in a combat. It was the only aircraft of the modern generation that was never shot down in any combat until May 7th. Thank you, India. France is going to be pissed at you. It is actually. That's why Mr. President of France did not shake hands with Modi right after this incident happened, because not that matters. But F-16 has been shot down even recently, the Ukrainian F-16 has been shot down by the Russian, I think Su-31 or something like that. Well, one of these F-16s were shot down. So it's a war-tested plane. Its reputation is beyond the one or two incidents. So even if one of the F-16s was shot down by a MiG-21, which the America would have said the truth, they're not Indians, they're not Pakistani, that they would lie about many of the things, although they do lie about many things. But what I'm saying is that this is not going to affect their manufacturing of F-16 or selling it out to other countries. It's not going to affect at all. So if they said that all fleet is complete, it is a truth. But can French officials say that about Rafales in India? They're still saying that we are not given access. We still don't know. We are not given any access to the fleet at all. Whatever aircraft is under maintenance, they acquire the engineers, they come and check that aircraft only, not the others. So it was very easy for India if they would have shown all the aircraft. They would call the elephant walk. Elephant walk is where all the airplanes are placed on the runway, one after the other, and they're shown. And even Pakistan has done that many times. We have, by the way, diamond formation of 64 F-86 back in the 60s that did a formation loop together. 16 aircraft, sorry, not 64. 16 F-86 Sabres took off together, and they did a loop together. That's one of the record of Pakistan's non-existing acrobatic teams. So I guess that's all for today for my initial video on the current affairs and air power around the world in English. So see you next time. If you have any questions from any country, please drop in the comment box. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.